first big news is definitely that we are getting the biggest thing that basically we have seen, which is oh, sorry, I don't know if we were live that whole time actually. Uh, I guess let me know in the chat if we weren't live. We are live now, so sorry if there was a delay in that. But the big news this week is that Samsung's reserve is up for the Galaxy Fold 4, the Flip 4, and for the Galaxy Watch 5, as well as the Galaxy Buds. Now, if you go to this link, you can save up to $200 on any of these products. So, basically, the whole idea behind that is you can actually save up to $200, 100 off the phone, 50 off the watch, and 50 off the buds, just by entering your reserve. And you can click which ones you want. So if you don't want to have the phone, you don't have to. If you want to have the watch or the buds, you don't have to. All that kind of stuff. So that is really big because this is besides all of the other discounts you're going to get. So if you need a new phone charger, if you need phone cases, if you need any accessories to go along with all this stuff, you are going to get this credit. Now, a bit of a tip, I would say, is that if you don't want to say get all of these right away, but say for instance, if you wanted to get the phone and the watch, well, that's $150, right? So technically, you could wait to use that credit. Samsung usually allows you to wait for that credit a couple of weeks after. And the benefit of that is obviously you can put the 150 towards the buds in that case. So there's lots of little different ways to work with this and make it so it's what you want exactly. But that is really big for the discount. So click the link. It's in the description, as well as I just put it in the live chat right now. $200, and you don't have to do anything. This is basically reserving your pre-order. So this is how it works. Samsung essentially makes a reservation, then they do a pre-order based off of those reservations first. Now, this is going to go live on the 10th. So August 10th, they're going to start to go through all of these reservations. If you do not enter this in, then you are going to have to wait. And basically, instead of on the 10th, you will get to pre-order on the 12th. So anyone that doesn't do this right away, they'll get to pre-order on the 12th, but you will lose all of these $200 incentives. So again, this really is made for if you need a case, if you need whatever you need. This is basically going to give you all of your accessories. So, I'm definitely going to get, if I'm going to get the Fold 4, the Flip 4, I'm going to get 2 cases right there. That's going to be covered with this $100. $50 from the watch, $50 from the buds. Hey, that might go towards a new charger or something like that. By the way, I did get in, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the new fast car charger. So this video is going to be coming for this one. It is the fastest car charger you can get for your Samsung phone. So I will be doing a video on that soon. All right, then we get some good news, bad news from the Fold 4. And this is more confirming a lot of things we had heard about, so just letting you guys know that. The first big thing is that the Fold 4 does finally look like it will be wider, which I am so happy about, guys. This is what Samsung's needed to do for the past few generations. So I'm happy with this so much. This has honestly been the first real big news to actually for me to consider getting the Fold 4. As of right now, I am still sticking with my S22 Ultra. I just don't see myself going to the Fold 4. I said that the last 2 years, so who knows? Actually, to be fair, I said that the last 3 years. The Fold 1 I never bought. I never bought the Fold 1 because I just didn't think it was worth it at the time. The Fold 2 was my first Fold, and the Fold 3 I bought as well. I did end up selling the Fold 3, though, as soon as I got the Ultra. So that being all said, the Fold 4 does look like it's going to have a wider design, which was so desperately needed, and it also looks like it's going to have smaller bezels. So this is the Fold 4 at the top, and you can see not only is it wider than the other two, but the bezels have shrunk down as well. So I'm really happy about this. I wanted a wider display for a long time with the folds. So this alone, I would say personally, is well worth it for me to recommend the Fold 4 over the Fold 3. Now there is another benefit obviously, and that is the cameras are going to get upgraded to the 50 megapixel cameras that we saw on the S22 this year. So your main camera sensor is going to get a huge upgrade compared to the 12 megapixel smaller sensor that the Fold 3 had. So the camera sensor and the wider aspect ratio I think is enough for anyone to switch from the Fold 3 for the Fold 4. But that isn't so easy because right now we are getting mixed signals, mixed rumors going against each other, because we do not know if these products will increase in price or if they will stay the same price. This is completely unknown. We don't know how this will turn out. So here's the idea behind it. As of right now, it does look like that the phones are going to be the same price. That is what my gut is telling me. It's what I'm looking at here. Now, this does mean that we're not getting a price drop, which I didn't expect with the Flip, right? The Flip went to $1,000. I think that's a fair and great price for the Flip before all the trade-ins, before this $100 instant credit, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think the Flip is great price. Now, I did want the Fold 4, however, to go down to maybe 1,600, 1,500, and hey, we could play ball more in that league. I think that would have been well worth it more. The problem is, and this will come back later, of course, a lot of these companies are saying chips are expensive right now and there's inflation going on. So it's gonna be more expensive, and that's what some rumor leakers have said. That it's going to get more expensive than the last year's model. Now we don't have any consistency in this, so my gut is telling me I think they would keep it at the same price. I don't think they're going to increase the price, but who knows? Samsung has disappointed us before with this. I remember, I think it was the S10 or the S20 that went like up $200 basically on all of their models, and it was stupid. It was the dumbest thing ever. They started at $1,000 I think for that phone, and then it went 1,000, 1,200, 1,400. It was the first 5G phone, and that was their justification for it. Well, it's a 5G phone, and no one cared. So that was the biggest bomb they ever had. I don't remember. I forgot if it was I want to say it was the S20, not the S10, but it's been a while now. And then that was, because I think that was 2020. So I think it was the S20, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so they corrected it in with the S21. They corrected it with the S22. So all that was back to normal. But yeah, it's just, I'm so curious to see how this will go. Just very curious to see. Also, we're getting pictures of, again, the Watch 5 and 5 Pro. We've already seen the images of these from before, so if you haven't seen our previous episode, we went through more in detail with the watches and the leaks. But also, it looks like the Buds Pro 2 will be the same price, and looks like the watch would be about the same price. And there are rumors. Now, this is rumors, so I didn't really go into too much of getting the articles, but I have heard rumors from some sources that it does look like the Watch 5 will have a dramatic improvement in battery life compared to the Watch 4, which is, of course, really good. And I think I might know why, and we'll get into that in 2 more articles from now on why that battery life is going to be so much better. But yeah, I'm very happy to hear that, because obviously that was one of the biggest letdowns of the Watch 4. It was the first Google Wear OS watch from Samsung, and it was, first one in like 4 years or 5 years, but it really was just such a disappointment when it comes to battery life, because you had to charge it every night, or the next morning you couldn't get past that. It was you had to do it. All right, and then we got OnePlus here ditching everything you see in this corner. So it looks like the OnePlus 10T. Now the T model is always, it's interesting because the T model is typically like the regular model upgraded, but not as upgraded as the Pro. So one year they had the I think it was the 8T Pro, and that was like the highest end model of the year. But every other year since then, they did, you know, the 9 Pro, or maybe it was the 7, maybe it was the 7, no, 7T I think was, I forget which one it was, but I think the 7T was just the T, the 8T Pro was just the Pro, and then the 9T was just the 9T. Or did they have a 9T? I forget. But then now we're going back to a 10T, so it's going to be a lower tier compared to their Pro model. But the funny thing is it is going to have two things taken away. And that is, it will no longer, for the first time ever, have the volume rock slider, the alert slider that only iPhone and OnePlus has had. Those are the only two ones that really have those. So those are the big things for it. And then they also have one big thing, and that is that they are no longer going to be partnered with Hasselblad for this. Apparently there was a dispute on trying to get the price down for the OnePlus because they wanted it. They felt they needed to get the price down, even though they are upgrading the camera. The camera is actually going to be better than the OnePlus Pro, it looks like. But they basically, you know, are not going to have this one. It's going to still be a 50 megapixel camera on this one, but it's going to be a slightly better sensor compared to the 10 Pro. So this is pretty interesting. I'm really, oops, sorry, hit the microphone, guys. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see how this will do overall for it, and what price will it come at? Because OnePlus, I feel like, really has been struggling over the past 2 years now. And it really just is something that, man, I'm very curious to see how this goes, because it's such a big shift for them. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, the company has changed since Carl Pei has been there, and, you know, it's not the nothing brand, and we're going to see which CEO really was the one to do well now. I think that's really going to be what you're going to see, is which CEO made OnePlus, because they're both on opposite sides now, and this is a really interesting move, to say the least. So yeah. All right. And then we have the reason why I think the Samsung smartwatch is going to have a better battery life. Qualcomm introduced the new Snapdragon watch processor, which is going to be a really amazing upgrade in everything. So it's the first 4 nanometer watch processor. So what that means, it's going to be much faster, like much faster compared to the, what I think it was a 10 nanometer, what the last ones were on. So a huge upgrade in terms of speed, but also a huge upgrade in terms of battery. This are going to support up to Bluetooth 5.3, which is the latest lower power Bluetooth, and up to 50% longer battery life. These will be the W5 and W5 Plus. Now, we don't know if these are going to be in the Samsung one, but this makes sense that it could be in the Samsung for this reason. So it just makes sense to have, like, oh, okay, it's going to be able to give you a much longer battery life, and this would be an easy reason why. Now, Montblanc and Oppo are going to be the two that do look like they'll be the first ones. So they are going to announce, I know, especially Montblanc is going to announce theirs very shortly. I think their teaser's set for like this upcoming week, actually. So technically they would be out before Samsung's. And Oppo, we don't know. So it's very curious to see how these will turn out. But again, having a 4 nanometer is really good. It's going to be better than the Samsung's one. So yeah, I mean, you're talking about going from 12 nanometer, actually, which was the previous 401. And even Samsung's own in-house one was 5 nanometer that they're working on. but it's going to be such a great thing. And maybe Samsung will use their own chip for their Exynos for 5 nanometer, but still going from a 12 nanometer to a 5 is going to be a huge improvement in speed and performance, and not to mention just having a much better battery life. These will also allow for 30% sleeker designs or thinner designs, so that means they could either put a bigger battery capacity or they could basically do something else. So it's really interesting to see how this could change the landscape, and I'm very excited to see how this goes. All right, now this one was a little bit scary because I could totally see it happening. And here's the thing: inflation. A lot of people are talking about it, right? And again, I don't want to get into political stuff, so please let's not go there. But here's the thing: inflation is there, right? You know, it's been there for a while now, over the past 2 years, I want to say. And really, the biggest thing about this inflation, is that manufacturers are making less money. All right, Apple and Samsung, who used to sell more phones, are making less money, so they want to correct that. And one of the things being talked about is making either lock screens or apps have ads. Now, Samsung has started this with their own Galaxy Store, and even certain notifications that they got grilled for. Like, they got talked about so badly, having these notification ads from their phones, that it was very unpopular, and they stopped doing it. So they did learn their lesson there, but it's interesting that we're going back to the Amazon Fire style. Because if you ever owned a Fire tablet, you can get it at a more affordable price. Like, I think it was like $50 less, but have ads on your lock screen. So every time you would turn on your tablet, it would have an ad on it. Then you just swipe, and then you go to your regular scheduled tablet. But that saved you $50. So a lot of people went for that version because they're like, I don't care about my lock screen. You know, it's a tablet. I'll pay the $50 less and get ads in the front. Who cares? But that, of course, did change a lot of people's perspectives when thinking about it on the Fire phone, right? Because the Fire phone was a bit different. So it wasn't, obviously the Fire phone failed for a lot of reasons, but that was a bigger thing because I think people care more about their lock screen on their phones compared to a tablet. So I don't know, guys. Like, the thought of having ads on my phone is already a bad thing. So what would you feel? What would you think, guys? I really don't care for it. And Xiaomi is like doing this already in other countries, but I don't know. I could see if you're having a very inexpensive smartphone, maybe a smartphone for under 200. Sure, I could see having ads as an okay option to have that phone. But if I'm paying anywhere above even 300, I feel like I don't want no ads. I better not get ads. Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, but I don't know. It's a scary consideration, basically. All right. And then I want to talk about this because I always, a lot of people will say, like, oh man, you're so biased and all this kind of stuff. When Apple has a bad article, you talk about them, but you won't talk about it when it's an iPhone kind of thing. So yeah. So here's the thing. We have an issue going on with Samsung's. This has to be a business line, and there's difference when it comes to business customers on Samsung than regular consumers, right? So apparently this Redditor is saying Samsung owes me $45,000 worth of trade-in credit. And it stems from the consumer buying 125 S2 Ultras. Now, the reason why I say this has to be a business line, it's not the amount of phones, but Samsung makes it very clear for consumers that you only get two per year. So you get two phones per year per household, and that's it. I'm very happy I moved this year because that has changed for me. So, but basically, that is pretty much it. Now, they have talked about extending it up to four. I don't know if that was actually implemented now at this point, but that is it. That's all the trade in you get for the year. This guy is getting 125. So it has to be a business line, and I'm assuming that Samsung has unlimited or maybe a certain amount, or else this guy really wouldn't have a case. Because basically he ordered three batches, 50, 50, and 25. So he is saying he got the money, he got credit for the first order, and then got progressively less on the following two. So basically he got 35,880 on the first order worth of credit, but then on the second one he only got 6,000. On the third one he only got 3,000. Now I've heard about people saying that, hey, I didn't get the amount of money I should have on a trade-in sometimes, or if they find something wrong, or they didn't, I've heard of people saying that, right? But it's really interesting in terms of having this many sales and this many trade-ins and all this stuff. So it's very bad press, I would say, for Samsung more than anything else. But it's really interesting that this is even allowed to happen. Now, maybe the guy gamed the system and Samsung figured it out and they don't really want to pay him. And I obviously understand that as a company and as a person who, hey, I figured out a loophole. You owe me what I'm owed. But it's really, really interesting how this turns out. I think no matter what, it's bad press for Samsung to go to just not pay it. If they could cite the reasons why, I could understand that. And again, I don't know their business class because, like, I can tell you from a consumer standpoint, it's definitely up to 4 trade-ins you get per year, per household. This is obviously 125, so it's a lot different. So I'm not sure what the limit is on business accounts for trade-ins, but that's a lot. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, that was the news. Now let's get to your questions. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right, let's get to your guys' questions. Oh, by the way, I do have new merch. If you go ahead and check out, I think it should be underneath the description of the video, some new merch that has been out. So let's see. Let me go to the website. Just so you guys can see it. All right, so just so you guys know, new merch has come out. So got lots of different clothes and everything like that at all different price ranges. I will say I am really happy with some of the new logos and everything like that. Let me go all the way to the end. So new higher quality, we are doing premium and tri-blend. So tri-blend are like really soft kind, all that stuff. And the premium, I love some of the new premium colors. Like there's some blues and turquoises that look really good. So yeah, and they come in all the different styles and everything like that. Lots of cool stuff. But there's also ones with different, I love the Tech Guy shirt too. It's probably one of my favorites. I love the way that one came out. But you can also get lots of different stuff, including we now have a really cool section, which is cases. So we have a couple of different cases. So we have the clear case for the all the S line. So if you have a Samsung phone, you want to get a Tech Guy case for it, you can get the Google Tech Guy case, and you can also get the one for the Roadster style Tesla kind of font. So, and then we have the tough case. Now, I will be getting these, I believe, next week, so I can let you guys know the quality of them and really kind of just go through it. But yeah, definitely excited that we have some cases involved, obviously, because that's definitely something that I really like to rock all the time. So definitely happy to have that. But yeah, lots of different stuff. You can get the jacket, all that kind of stuff. I love this kind of zipper hoodie. That's probably my favorite kind of hoodie. I'm gonna buy a bunch more. But yeah, some new colors that are pretty cool. And let me go to the premium one. Let's go to the actually the Tesla style font one, because I do like that one as well a lot. And but yeah, so just you can guys can check it out. But I do like some of these colors. Like there's something about like this one and these two. I just really like the quality of it. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's in the link, but here I will put it in the chat too, just in case if you guys want to see it. All right, now let's get to your questions. Note S20, any reason? Note S20 Ultra, any reason to upgrade? The S Pen would, to me, would be a definite reason to upgrade. Other than that, you got a better low light quality photo. The sensor on the S20 specifically, I remember not being as good in low light. Now it could have got software updates that made it better, mind you, obviously in the last 2 years. But that really was the big difference, is that the quality in low light did improve over the last 2 years a lot. So that's definitely a thing that stands out to me off the top of my head from remembering it, that phone. And you said the Note S20 Ultra. I'm guessing you meant the S22 Ultra, which, yeah, the S Pen, I mean, was definitely worth it for me to upgrade from the S21 to the S22. The S Pen alone made it worth it for me. Samsung should make cheaper phones, as they make most of the phone parts and screens, but care about their profit, I'm afraid. Well, let's face it, everyone cares about profit in terms of a manufacturer and a company, right? I will say that there are two phones that I'm excited to really test out over the next 2 weeks, and that is one from TCL. So the TCL Stylus 5G. This is a phone that I'm really excited to test out, just because it's a stylus pen inside the phone, which I love that idea of having another contender in there. Is really cool for me. Also, the A53 from Samsung versus the new Google Pixel 6a that I just got in. So this is going to be a really cool one to go for. Just, I love the style of it. And of course, Google knows me, so they gave it in green. So all about that style. But yeah, really excited to play around with it. Already got some cases from it. I got a Spigen case and a Caseology case for it. So I am ready to go. And yeah, just excited to get started with some phones, guys. I've been itching to do videos. Like, you don't understand. It's just... since I wasn't live earlier, the reason why there was no videos this week, the whole pandemic hit my house. So yeah, everyone's good for the most part, just a couple bad days. But yeah, that's why this week has been sucky, to say the least. But that's why there was no videos this week after promising them for the past few weeks. But yeah, so yeah. Hey, a whole bunch of questions loaded. Everybody drink. Hey, we got Mullet Baby in the building. I will get to the other questions, but we have to check out what Mullet Baby's talking about, because he's always dropping exclusive knowledge on our shows. Thank you to have you back, Mullet Baby. Samsung National Repair Program has issued millions worth of refunds on known issues for the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. Dead display and batteries, freezing issues. That is really crazy, because I have not had any issues with my watch. I mean, again, it dies quicker than I would like it to, but I have not had any issues with my watch. I am, I guess, very lucky in that aspect. But yeah, that's crazy. Millions of dollars refunded, man. Whew. Samsung has kept it under wraps. I will say that. No trades have been really talking about that. I will say that. Mullah Baby always giving the exclusives. Um, they have a paid app program on the phone already. It started with the S9, S9 Plus. They had a Facebook app you could delete and remove. Facebook paid tens of millions for it. Very interesting. I did not know that they have a paid app program. I'm so wondering if you could even sign up for it. That's just so really interesting. They did for the Fold 3 and Z Fold 3 devices, 4 phones, watches, tablets. Oh, they're saying 4 devices, 4 devices per year, for phones, watches, tablets per year consumer. So yeah, so before it was household. So the problem with household is that, like, I have 4 in my household, right? So now they all 4 don't get phones every year, mind you. But it's something that it's like, well, but then what if, I wanted to get me and my wife a phone every year, and I get both the Note and the Samsung, but I also want to get the watches. Like, so it's all these like limitations that I just worry about. Hey, super chat! Thank you so much, John. John Krupp. And good evening, sir. Upgrading from my Note 10 Plus to the S22 Ultra was the only way to go. Have to have my S Pen. Great IP rating. Absolutely, man. I mean, that is the quintessential upgrade. Anyone that has an old Note, the S22 Ultra is the new Note. So that's the one you should definitely get. And it's why they sold over 10 million of the S22 Ultras, that they hadn't done that for years. And that's just because of that, because of the fact that it replaced the Note. So it was the biggest selling S series in years. To be fair, it sold more Notes than anything since the Note 8. And that was because it makes the what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. When we didn't have the Note 7 for a year, everyone wanted the Note 8. When we didn't have when we didn't have the Note 21 for a year, everyone wanted the Note. So bam, came in the S22 Ultra with an S Pen, Note by any other name, and that was it. So yeah. Great choice, man. Great choice. Hey, Basic Tech, thank you so much for your super chat donation. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Just seeing your is that a GIF or an emoji? That would you say that, or sticker? I guess they're called. Samsung has glut over 30 million phones of the A series model, all models, sit around in the warehouse in Korea. Wow, so they have. I know the A series has not been selling well over the past year. It just did not sell well over the past year. Now the benefit is they're selling more S series actually, but not enough to make up for the missing A series. A series was their top selling phone because it's their more affordable phone, so it makes sense. But yeah, the A series did not do well over the past 2 years, and I don't know why, because they're really good phones. Like, they're really good. So yeah, like, and I will say this: I have not tested the 6A yet. I've not tested the 6A yet, but I remember bringing my was it the 4A? I think it was the 4A this year, and me and my coworker were testing out the cameras on the 4A, which would be the same camera as the 5A, right? And is the same camera as the 6A, not the wide angle. The wide angle did change, but mind you, same camera, different processing and everything. But on the 4A, 5A, and 6A, right, all the same camera on the Pixel. The A53 from Samsung took a better photo, way more detailed, because we were trying to take a picture of a processor, which, if you've ever seen a processor, it's lots of tiny little pins. And so to be able to do that, it's very hard to do. So that was kind of like, oh, that's pretty hilarious. That, like, the one thing that the Pixel's known for, A53 actually did better. So I'm really curious I have to do a camera comparison between those two, because I really want to see how Samsung has moved up in the mid range over the few years. So yeah. All right, guys, let's get to the rest of your questions. Sorry, I'll scroll back up. We just had some breaking news from Mullet Baby, so how to get to it. Okay. Let's see. What do you think of Casetify cases? You know, I've seen their ads, because like they have these new like Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I saw them at Anime Expo. I have never used them. However, obviously they're getting really interesting stuff because they partnered with a lot of companies. So I am curious. I think I might reach out to them, possibly to see, what kind of cases they're offering. Fun fact: there are certain cases I'm going to be testing out, that I'm very excited about for the Fold 4 that have never been a case manufacturer, not a very big one. So very curious to see how these turn out. But yeah, so it's curious to see. I'm looking at their S22 stuff right now, and I have not tested these. I've never used these cases, right? But they have lots and lots of fun designs. But the biggest thing is that they have some branded partnerships. So you have things like Star Wars, like Harry Potter, like Marvel in these ones, and they are like legit, like Disney princesses. So I might see like for but yeah, so it's really interesting to see how these are looking and what things we will see from them. But you have Stranger Things, Peanuts, Harry Potter, NBA, all these kind of really interesting designs that I'm very curious to see how they will keep moving on. I mean, that looks legit. Like my wife would love that case. So it's really, I love that style. Like there's some really cool things here, but I'll have to see on the quality of the actual case before I can obviously. It's some really strong partnerships, but I'm really curious to see on the quality of the case. Your room is green. Your Green Lantern. Your Green Lantern. Yes, it's always on. You have to have the lantern. You have to charge it. And make sure that it just exudes around you. Of course. So yeah, wait till you see that set. By the way, although it has been on one video, but it wasn't in its final form. Now it's in its final form. Hey Ricky, how are you? Any info about the Galaxy Watch 5 battery life? 4 gives me less than a day, maybe half, and it's which is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. I talked about this earlier. I'm not sure if you asked it before I answered the question, but it does look like the Galaxy Watch 5 is going to have up to a 3-day battery life, but it is talked about as more than double the Galaxy Watch 4, so it should at least be 2 days, which I would welcome. 3 days is great, if maybe we get that 3 days right from the beginning, and then as a year goes by, we get to 2 days, as the battery degrades. But I would be so happy with that. We'll have to wait and see, though. But that's what I'm hearing. Why can't Samsung and Google come up with a messaging app to rival iMessage? Even the new Google Messenger feels like it's from 10 years ago. They have tried, and they've failed. Because they don't stick to it. So Samsung had one back with the S3. It was called Chat On. It was C and had an orange circle message looking like thing, and it was way ahead of iMessage at its time, like way ahead of iMessage. It did link to your phone. It did link to your email address, so you had that synergy. And it was utter failure because they never advertised it. No one knew about it. And it would be the first app that most people would delete because they were deleting bloatware. So yeah, it wasn't a default text message. It did not replace text messaging. It was just an instant messenger. Google's first attempt was Hangouts. It grew to be the best one by far. It's still better than Messages to this day, because it was essentially iMessage and FaceTime in one app. And for a time, it did replace text messaging in terms of you could have it as the default text messaging app, link it to your phone. Hangouts is always linked through email, so that was how you found other people. I put in my wife's email and I can instant message her, send her high quality photos, high quality videos, all that kind of stuff. Hangouts has moved over and migrated to Google Chat, which is a green text thing. So same kind of thing as Hangouts, basically the same thing that Hangouts was, is now that. You could also do a voice call, so free international voice calling. When I took my honeymoon in Europe, I was able to call my mom and brother and everything through Google Hangout at the time, and it was free calling because it was just over the internet voice calling. So that was perfect, right? Never had high rates from any of these carriers that charge so much for international when it doesn't matter if you're just over the internet. So those were the two best attempts by both companies. The reason they never did it was Google's fault. Google is to blame for the lack of an iMessage replacement that they are now trying to do with Google Messages a third time, right? So this is not even the third attempt, really. There's plenty more. But their current way of doing it is through Google Messages, and it has the biggest chance because it has RCS support, which basically allows you to text message anyone on Android the same way you do iMessage. I can see what they're texting. I can see when they've read my messages. I can send high quality videos. Anyone that has Google Messages to Google Messages in a phone in the last 3 years, hey, you're set up. You're good to go. You have no issues. You're up there. You have the equivalent of iMessage now on your phone. The problem is that Apple doesn't want to support it because, of course, they have a monopoly with iMessage. So when my friend was on vacation this Friday and was trying to rub it in, he sent me this video of him there, and it looked like crap because it was from an iPhone. If I send my mom, my wife, my brother, anyone in my family a video, they're going to see it in high quality. So if I send my coworker a video back, I have the option of sending it through Samsung link sharing. So he will get a high quality 4K image of my video. But can't do that with iPhone. So Apple is crippling RCS, which is Google's latest attempt, and it honestly has the best capability to replace MMS, which is what Apple's still using to be compatible with older phones or older Androids rather, or current Android. So yeah, that's why. So the reason why they never did it until now was Google said, well, our carriers didn't want us to create our own text messaging app, so we wanted to work well with them. What I have to say to Google was, you should have grown balls 10 years ago. I mean, it's just like Apple did the same thing. Apple was like, hey, you carriers want to have your own text messaging app? Great. I don't give up. I'm going to make iMessage. And they did it. And what were the carriers going to really do? Not carry Android? Especially at that time, because this was the time when AT&T and Verizon only had iPhones. So Sprint and T-Mobile didn't. They could have completely created their own messaging service and competed with iMessage, and now have had, like, the thing about it that really upsets me, WhatsApp became very popular internationally, and it never should have. WeChat became international, gold in China specifically. It never should have. If Google had created an iMessage would be nothing now. If they created it way back when, mind you, not now. But the reason for it is because there are way more Androids in the world. Apple is still only 20% of the market share. So yeah, it really would have been a completely different. But that's why Google did not want to upset their partners. Samsung felt the same way, because when they had the chance to really replace the text messaging app with chat on, which was their instant messaging. They decided not to because they were only on the S3. They were a hit, but they weren't on the level of iPhone. So they didn't want to rock the boat. And this is where it got them. So yeah, that's why. It was all their faults. Whoa, a whole bunch of questions just loaded. Everybody drink. All right. Did you watch the Wakanda Forever preview? Yeah, I've pretty much caught up on everything that has been released at San Diego Comic-Con as of like 6 p.m. today. If something else drops since then, I'm not sure. But yeah, Wakanda Forever, very impactful. Just so like wow in terms of everything that we're gonna get. I still, and even seeing the trailer, I more feel so they should have never done this. I feel that the character should have been recast. That is my opinion. I understand there's a lot of people that don't feel that way, that he is Black Panther. I grew up on Black Panther comics, so I know how important the character is, how he's the conscience often. Him and Steve Rogers were like the conscience of the Avengers. And it just, they always were leaders, even without being leaders. Even when Tony led the Avengers, Cap and Black Panther were always the leaders for morality. And yeah, just like that character is so important, so important. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, obviously there is, if you haven't seen the trailer, there is a new Black Panther at the end. We don't know who it is. I'm guessing it's gonna be Shuri. But we also see a preview of Riri Williams, which is one of my favorite characters, so I cannot wait for her. She was in it, if you didn't know, the person banging the heart on Iron, that is her name. Instead of Iron Man, she is Iron Heart. She essentially created an Iron Man suit from scraps. Tony Stark created this with a bunch of scraps. So that is so cool. Like, I cannot wait for it. Also, if you haven't seen the timeline, we have up to phase 5 and phase 6 for Marvel now too, so just excited about all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the problem is you always give Samsung the benefit of the doubt, whereas Apple, you automatically find them guilty. I know both companies and go off of what I have seen in the past, so yeah, that's what I go by. Ricky, do you think Microsoft will introduce ads on Windows operating system? Oh God, I hope not. I really hope not. I mean, you want to push everyone to Chrome OS, you do that. Like, oh man, that would be such a big mistake for Microsoft to do that. Like, if Microsoft would start putting ads on the OS, oh man, you're going to get people leaving. You are going to get people leaving. And like, I guarantee you, if Microsoft did that, Chrome or Google would fast track Fuchsia OS so quick. Like, here's a comparable. Boom. Like, move over, because that would just be so silly. It would be so silly. Any news on Galaxy Watch 5 Pro? Again, we've heard good news that the watch should be double the battery life, which granted should be 2 days. Some people have said up to 3 days, but I'm saying 2 days. I'm an S22 Ultra owner, love it as much as my Note 10. I dropped it, the screen shattered, destroyed my digitizer. I cannot afford a repair for. Oh, Destiny, I'm so sorry. Oh, that really sucks. Oh man, I mean, yeah, save up for it. It's definitely worth it to fix it comparing to anything else. But yeah, shop around. I mean, see how much Samsung would fix it for. Check out You Break I Fix. They are a Samsung certified repair store, I believe still. So yeah, just shop around, see how much it would be, save up, and then get it when you can, fix it. But I feel you. I it's one of the reasons why ever since I had kids, I've never, broken my own phone. But man, since I've had kids, screen cracks on my screen protectors have been a common thing, unfortunately. Something I never had, but it's one reason why all of my phones, like even a phone I'm testing out, like the TCL Stylus 5, I can't get my Whitestone Dome Glass, which is my top recommendation for screen protectors. They don't make it for TCL, but hey, I get this little, cheaper brand, Super Shields, and I got for my TCL Stylus 5 G, and I'm gonna be getting another one for the 6A. So I always get a screen protector now for my phones for that reason. But yeah, I just always get a screen protector if you have broken phones in the past, or if you have done that stuff. Definitely get it. Imagine if you had ads anywhere you had your screen, such as freezers, washing machines. Think about how that would be a disaster. Yeah, it would be. So it really is like a, Futurama scenario, right? Where like there's ads everywhere. It's like, yeah, we had it all in our face and billboards and all this kind of stuff, but never on. Yeah, just it's something that, man, ads. I get it. I do get it. Like I like targeted ads. I really do like targeted ads. I know targeted ads is a bad rep. I like targeted ads, but it's where I get them that I more care about, because I don't want to see them everywhere. But I do like targeted ads because I like, if I'm gonna get ads, I don't want ads for like hunter clothes or rollerblading, like things that I would never. I was just trying to think of two random things that I would never have an interest in. I don't want those ads. I want ads for tech stuff and like, oh, okay, new technology. I like this. Like, I like to hear about things and learn about things from ads. I don't buy them usually, but I like to just know what's out there. That's how I knew about Defy, because they had been serving me ads for the S22, right? And I was like, oh, cool, cool. And I had already seen them at Anime Expo, so I was like, I knew a bit about them. I had some camera fails in the S22 Ultra. Anyone have that problem? I have not. Has anyone had that problem with their S22? Let me know. Is the salt in the Galaxy 5 Pro Sapphire glass? I think even the glass, Sapphire glass, or how do you think the price will be, and do you think it'll be worth it? I think for double the if it lasts 2 days battery life, automatic purchase for me. That's what I'm really waiting for. My brother is also in line for a new watch too, so I mean that's definitely, I think, what he would want to get to. So yeah, I mean those are definitely looking at for sure right now. Ricky, did you ever have a Blackberry phone? Was your experience using the brand? They were Samsung back in the day. No, BlackBerry was like iPhone back in the day, as in everyone had one, basically, in terms of if you had a smartphone, you had a BlackBerry. So in the US, I'm saying. Did I ever have a BlackBerry? No, actually. I never liked the keyboard usually for the most part on phones. I did mess around with some TCL phones, or when they were still called Alcatel in the US. I did mess around with some of those phones and different manufacturers and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think I ever had a BlackBerry phone. I'm trying to remember if I felt like I reviewed one of them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I felt like I reviewed one of the Android BlackBerries, but for a very short time, and like I had to send it back or something like that. So a very short time with a BlackBerry. I think so. One, I think, but this was when they were on Android. Already had sold their company, all that stuff, and it was another company making it. But no, never had a BlackBerry. The only experience that I had with it was, I remember vividly, was the BlackBerry Storm. It was their first touchscreen phone, but it had this like weird pop-up feedback on it that was really weird and bizarre. It was before haptic feedback. So it released one year, and my girlfriend at the time had just gotten it. And I was like, oh, you got the, she was a techie and all that kind of stuff, and she got it and everything like that. So saw some things about it. But yeah, found out she cheated me on on the BlackBerry Messenger. But yeah, so saw that. But it was funny because 3 months after that, I'd gotten my first Android phone, which was the Droid. So open up keyboard kind of thing, and I had just left the LG Voyager, which was like the best non-smartphone smartphone you could get without paying the $30 fee from Verizon. So yeah, so that was I went to that one, and it was so much better than her BlackBerry that it was just like a night and day difference. And she was like so pissed she had gotten the BlackBerry because the Droid was so much better. So yeah, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was just that was my first kind of like, oh, BlackBerry's finally getting a touchscreen phone. And then Android came out 3 months later for Android on Verizon, and it was just like better in every way. That was the Droid Does whole campaign that just took Verizon by storm. So yeah. Um, S22 Ultra or Fold 4. S22 Ultra is going to be better in every way, pretty much, in terms of battery life and camera quality, and having an S Pen built in. It's better. The S22 Ultra is better for all of those three. So for me, the majority of people should get the S22 Ultra over the Fold 4. I don't know what I'll do. We'll see. Oh yeah, I forgot about chat on. Hang out forever. Hey there. Watch all your videos. Keep up to date. I'm a Samsung fan who is disappointed with Samsung products right now. The Galaxy Watch 4 is not even worth half the price. Do you think I should even invest in the Galaxy Watch 5? Galaxy Watch 5 being a much bigger battery life, I think, is a huge critique of the 4, right? The 4 was a really bad battery life. It was the first version of Samsung on a Wear OS, so it had a lot of kinks to work out. I understand that. I don't like it, but I understand it. So yeah, I think that realistically, yeah, they should have had a price cut for that, because it was from the Watch 3 to the Watch 4, it was a huge reduction in battery life. And we didn't get Google Assistant till later this year, so it was a lot of things that could have been different. We'll see what improvements they make with the Watch 5 besides the battery life, but the battery life obviously alone is a pretty big one, so we'll have to wait and see. My next Samsung device has to include embedded S Pen. I can trade in my S21 and get the S22 Ultra for $600 off. But should I wait for the S23 Ultra? So here's the thing. It's $600 off right now. So what you could do, and this depends on your financial situation, everything like that, right? You could do that right now and get the S22 Ultra, 600 off, which would make it like what, about $600. So you could do that, and then you could trade that one in for the S23 Ultra, because that one should give you like $800 off of the S23 Ultra when it comes out. So you could do both, or you could wait, or these are all different options. But definitely, I always recommend getting a phone when it first comes out, because that is when Samsung will give you the most for the trade-in. That S21 honestly probably would have got you 800 when the S22 Ultra first came out. So that is something you just always keep in mind. Do you have to renew your account for Movies Anywhere? I got an email from them. I wanted to make sure it wasn't a scam. I have never renewed my account for Movies Anywhere. I would go to the Movies Anywhere website though and check it out. I always forget when I have something that I sign into Google with. But yeah. Manage. So sometimes I have to reconnect. connect my stuff. But no, I mean, there is nothing here that tells me that I have to do that. So I'm not sure. But yeah, there's nothing here that tells me that I have to renew it. So I would think no, but maybe I just haven't gotten it. I'm not sure. But logging into it, it had no pop up, nothing like that about that I had to renew my membership for Movies Anywhere. Um, yes, I had two camera failures on my S22 Ultra, so other people have had the camera failures, so yeah, I'm not sure. And that's why 51st date questions help. Tech is not held responsible for marriage lack of vision. Yeah, so we gotta do the shameless plug as we do once a week, and that is for 51st date questions. It is the app I created, and it is a great time just to play. Available on Android and iOS. iOS for now. I still have to see how that goes once Apple renews on the latest version of iOS coming this September. So it might be your last chance to get it on iOS by all means, just because Apple is enforcing their renewal stuff. But really great app. You can play and have lots of fun with it. Available right now on the Google App Store, Google Play Store or Apple App Store. I was a huge Moto fan, got every phone until I got the Samsung Note 4. Ooh, what a way to get the Samsung, man. Have never looked back. Samsung all the way. Hashtag no iPhone. Yeah, no. That was like, man, did you pick a perfect entry to Samsung? The Note 4 is still one of the best phones, I would say, of its generation. Like, that was such a good phone. The S3 and the Note 4, those were two game changers in my opinion, for sure. So do you think the S22 Ultra is better than the Fold 4? I've got the Note 20 Ultra 512 and looking for something new. Yeah, I would say, again, in battery life, in camera quality, and has a built-in S Pen. Those are three things that the Fold 4 will not have. So yeah, all three are better on the S22 Ultra comparing to the Fold 4. Any suggestions from old Samsung tablet that can't be updated? I do not know off the top of my head. I mean, you can use it for lots of things. You can use it for a kid's tablet. You can use it for, I mean, you can go the rooting route, but that's, I don't know, your technical prowess. You can use it like as a Google Assistant or as an Alexa. Basically, you can install Alexa on it and just have it always charging and just use it as an Alexa tablet, essentially. That could be one of the things. But yeah, those are things in mind that I could think of. I know my Garmin account was just deleted. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming some brands, when they want to clear out their what do you call it? When they want to clear out their old stuff in terms of their servers, they'll delete some old accounts, but it's rare because those accounts are worth something still for advertisers. That's why we keep talking about them. Yeah, it's a 10.1 tablet. I mean, you could just watch movies on it, obviously. That could definitely be something. But yeah, you can make an Alexa tablet or Google Assistant, a smart home thing, essentially. Mount it to the wall, always have it plugged in, and do something like that. But yeah, there's different things you can do with older tablets to make them useful. I keep them in my drawers. Old tablets that my, kids crack the screens on or something like that. Like, I just haven't gotten rid of them. So yeah. All right, guys. With that, we will be wrapping up. I have a long night ahead of me. I'm going to do a couple videos, including my Amazon Prime Amazon Prime Day tech haul, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 products I see right here that I got on that day. And that's not even including some of the other ones that I bought that aren't there. So yeah, lots of going to be going over my tech haul and what I got and why I got it, and you know, if you guys want to get any of them, I will have all the links for those. So yeah, pretty fun. All right, but yeah, guys, some interesting videos coming this week and some interesting stuff I'm going to be doing. I can tell you the week about a month from now, August, let's see, 20th, right? So the 21st of August, as well as the 4th of September. So those are 2 weeks apart. We will not be having Mobile Weekly. I will be in Canada for the first time ever on the 21st. And for what is it? For the 4th, I will, that Labor Day weekend, I will be at PAX West in Seattle for the first time as well. So yeah, it's going to be going to some fun events, which will be cool. But yeah, it should be a pretty interesting time. I'm going to be traveling a little bit more. I was really disappointed that the Samsung Unpacked wasn't at San Francisco or New York. I really wanted to go. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. All right, guys, lots of videos coming this week. I have a night of filming ahead of me, so I can get some out to you tomorrow morning. And my goal is to get 4 videos out this week at least. So we'll see how I do next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it as always. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hit the like button if you don't mind before you leave.